Please help me welcome Vanessa Hughes, the owner and chief executive officer of Hughes Recruiting and Consulting. Established in Freeport and expanding across the Midwest, Hughes brings over 140 years of combined staffing and recruiting experience to the communities it serves. The firm specializes in connecting thousands of job seekers with hundreds of leading employers every year, creating opportunities that help individuals grow their careers while driving business success. Under Vanessa's leadership, Hughes has become a trusted regional partner, offering tailored HR solutions that strengthen the local workforce, support companies' growth, and make a meaningful impact across the Midwest. Let's give a warm welcome to Vanessa Hughes. As two women business owners who started around the same time, I wanted to hear some of your thoughts and how you got into recruitment and talent retention.
By chance.
Completely by chance.
As how I got into real estate. Life things often do. I had moved back to Freeport without an intention to stay. This is where I grew up. Was looking for a job and ended up getting hired by another woman business owner, Lorraine Logan, who owned a staffing company in Rockford and Freeport.
Okay.
So again, strictly by chance, I got into staffing industry.
Really small world, because that's how I got into real estate too. So you just never know where life's going to lead you, right?
Yeah. Opportunity knocks,
That's
you open
right.
the door.
That's right. So what do you think has been the key to your long-term growth and sustainability, if you could put it on one or two things?
Just keep moving forward. I love the staffing industry, so that helps. I mean, I think those people that are seeking to find something that you're passionate about is good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like I grew up thinking I would go into staffing, but as you got into it, there's a lot to the industry that I have enjoyed. And so that's made the continued work, almost 24 years of doing staffing, enjoyable.
Right.
And then I think in terms of the business growth, I'm goal oriented, so I love setting new goals for the year. We do it quarterly now. What is our next thing? What's our next step? What do we want to improve? I mean, you never lose sight of wanting to continue to improve, whether it's your operations, whether it's something you're expanding into. It's just a drive to keep moving forward.
How do you approach connecting the right people with the right opportunities?
We are a people-centered business, both with our candidates and our clients. Mm-hmm. So people are at the core of what we do. There is a personal touch to that. So meeting with candidates on that side of the business and understanding what they're looking for and what drives them, which, as we say, sometimes is a new career, or sometimes a level up in whatever their career is. And sometimes it's just a paycheck.
Right.
Like that's what they need. That is part of our purpose in helping them fulfill what they need in their lives.
Right.
But those personal touches of, we interview everybody that we work with, preferably in person, and most of the time in person. And so getting to know them. And then on the flip side, our clients, again, all people-centered. What is the culture of that client? What are they really looking for? And again, sometimes it's a position that's instrumental in what they do. Right. And other times it's, I need a warm body to come and, push this button, for example. So understanding what their priorities are and making sure that we're matching those two things together. My early days in staffing, where I was so much more frontline work and working directly with candidates and our clients, I still remember all those folks. I mean, you get to know them, and I'll run into them in the community, and I think sometimes it freaks them out because I'll be like, hey, Samantha, or, hey, so-and-so. Like, I remember their names because you become close to the people you're working with, and, you care about what's happening with them. Right. And I'm more distant from that than I used to be, but you don't lose that. And we have lots of people that are frontline with the teams, and know their people intimately.
Absolutely. I mean, because basically you guys become the HR department. That's ideally, that's the easy part, is that you are handling all of the HR. And so you're a department of that company or that entity. So
truly. And we'll say that to our clients. We want to be an extension of your HR department.
Right.
Sometimes the smaller clients don't have any HR person, so we are it. And that is part of what, we seek to be different about in staffing. We want to be knowledgeable about all things HR and be able to be leaned on to answer those questions. And other times they're bigger clients that have an HR department. And so we are just an extension of what they're doing.
The labor market is constantly shifting. I know, as we laugh, right? What trends are you seeing in hiring across the Midwest? And right now, how is Hughes adapting to that and those changes?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time talking about this because there has been a change to the industry, and it is in the middle of a shift. The world is always in the middle of a shift, but all people are in the middle of what is AI going to do for us? So that's the big question and the big debate. We've certainly seen over the years automation replace jobs. And so you have less entry level unskilled jobs, which for years was our bread and butter, like high volume, a client that needs 10 or 20 people. And we don't see that anymore. That is changing. I think what it's being replaced with is more skilled jobs, which could be more meaningful, but also means it's different people maybe seeking those jobs. So it'll be an interesting few years because that speed of technology is just accelerating.
It's outpacing everything, like I'll take a class and then 5 minutes later it's like, okay, well now that's the old news. Now this is the new thing. And, and all these things talking about all the different AI and automations and things it can do for you. And it's still learning, right? It's crazy. Yeah. And I think a lot of people too, when they think staffing companies, they just think, like you said, it's just like a factory staffing or just seasonal staffing or something. And I think that's really a huge misconception that maybe people, think out there in the industry of how a staffing company is and what it does. Because you guys do a lot more from like executive search, right? To, like you said, entry level.
We run the gamut. So our professional search department, she just placed an attorney, which was new for us. We'd never done something like that before. So it truly runs the gamut from, very high level executive professionals. Through anything, again, showing up for a body, we need somebody here to answer a phone or to make sure this product is going down the production line. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, and I think that a lot of people, I've had friends who are, just out of high school or college or whatever. And like you said, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do and, and that stuff. I'm like, call Vanessa, call Hughes, because like you said, until you kind of figure out what you want to do, go dabble in this, go dabble in that, because there are so many different job opportunities out there and you guys can kind of match them to, maybe what their skill set or their personality or, that kind of stuff might be better fitted, better suited for.
Yeah. Well, and as in my own experience, and it sounds like yours, and as I'm, I have a newly graduated, high school student, I'm like, sometimes you just have to take a job. It doesn't have to be a passion job. You don't know what it's going to lead you to.
Right.
You either learn a new skill or you see something else within the company that you're working at that is of interest to you. You just don't know. So sometimes it's just that step forward.
Yep.
And,
Yeah. And sometimes it's just connecting people too. I mean, you might meet somebody at that new job that maybe introduces you to something else that, maybe you should meet this person over here and, you'd be really great at this or something else. So it is just a starting point. Hughes places a strong emphasis on community and local relationships. How does that commitment throughout the Midwest stage your company culture and affect your company culture and the way you do business?
Yeah, we just talked about this yesterday in this space when we did our quarterly meeting that we do with the whole company. We bring everybody together once a quarter across, all of our offices.
All your offices,
so
wow.
The one woman up in River Falls, Wisconsin, drove 5 hours to get here. But community and being involved in the community is how I built the business. And so I attribute that strongly to those early days of how we grew staffing in Hughes Resources at that time, and now Hughes Recruiting, going to the chamber events, attending ribbon cuttings, just being involved, being out there. People want to do business with people they know.
Right.
We all do.
Right.
Once you develop a trust or a familiarity with somebody, it's just easier to do business with them. And so we've carried that through all of our offices. We encourage people to be involved, to join a service club, to attend events, to, sponsor and give back to area events.
Right.
And it can be a little harder, I think, in some of your larger communities. So we have an office in Aurora, Illinois, and we've just joined the chamber. It's a big area, so harder to get to know people.
Right. Right.
But we continue to do those same steps.
Right.
The power of connection and networking isn't diminished.
No. It really does make a difference when you can pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, you might know somebody who can help me with this or can connect me with this or, find out who to talk to about this. And absolutely. So is there a failure or a time that I call it failing forward that you would like to share that you think might help others as small businesses or as other business owners?
Yes, we all have them. I was thinking about this, and I think my one big one is I tend to be overly optimistic. I think everything's going to work out, and it has. Generally speaking, things just work out, and even when you have a hiccup, it fails you forward to something that's better. But sometimes that may have prevented me from confronting the brutal reality, which again, Good to Great, reference that book. So I think there's sometimes you have to make sure you have you don't want to lose your optimism, your positivity, but you also need to be realistic when you're making choices. For me, that can be financial. Money has always worked out for me since the time I was a kid. I can, I make it work to do the things we need to do. And sometimes you need to pull back a little bit.
Right.
So that would be the one thing. We use the word hope a lot, or we would hear people within our business say, well, I'm hoping, that this is going to turn around. And we started saying hope is not a strategy.
Right.
So it's great. We want hope. We want positivity. Don't lose that. That is core to who we are as people. And those are the teammates that we want to work with. But sometimes we need to.
Right. That's not a business structure.
Have a more realistic strategy about how you're going to confront a certain problem.
Right. Is there a book or a podcast or some kind of training that you've done that you felt really impacted you or your career or in your company?
Yeah, we've read some great books along the way, and we continue to. We have a reading initiative at work, and so we read a couple times a year a book that the whole company reads, and we talk about. We also do it amongst certain teams. The staffing management team or the leadership team will read something. So a couple of late, that one thing or the one thing, like what is the one thing that you can focus on that gets you ahead. So sometimes being more singularly focused, that's been impactful. The Power of Habit was a great one.
Yes.
But the one that's been the biggest impact on our business the last couple of years was reading the book Traction.
Oh, okay.
Which is EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Okay.
We read it a couple years ago. It's been out for a while, and it took all the things that we were already doing for planning and strategy within our business and simplified it, and also brought it in. So we used to do this, great, big, beautiful annual strategic plan for the company. But as things happen, by mid-year, you've gone askew because things change.
Right.
And so this breaks it down into a quarterly planning.
Okay.
And we do that throughout our company now. So there's, company-wide, they call them rocks, which are your goals for the quarter. But each department does it, each office does it. And that has really focused what we're doing, focused how we hold ourselves accountable. There's a number of components in it. It makes it very transparent. It also addresses the people issues because you have your values and you evaluate people by whatever your core values are in addition to the actual hard skills of the job. And it gives it a very clear way of is this person in the right seat?
Right.
Should they be at your company?
Right. It's been wonderful. I mean, this is just flown by. I feel like we had a whole list of things we wanted to talk about and they just, woof, here we are.
Yeah. Well, we can stay.
Right. Anything else that you'd like to share that you think, might help or impact someone as a starting business or as a,
I am all for the just jump in. It is part of my personality to just jump in, and I have a high tolerance for risk. I mean, buying the business to begin with at the age of 27, is yeah, sure, that sounds good. Let's try that out. It's okay to, I guess, risk failure, even though those things don't necessarily cross through my mind. As you know, a little over a year ago, I did a major acquisition and doubled the size of the business, which again, huge risk. And there's been a few points where you're like, whew, man, hope I didn't really mess things up for myself. But it's been a great learning experience. It's been a great new challenge for all of our team. And we've lost some people through that weren't excited or maybe scared off by some of these big changes.
Right.
But I think that's the fun part of life is just jump in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd agree. I think sometimes you kind of need to look at, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I mean, if it isn't successful, is that a bad thing. I mean, like, okay, we tried that, but okay, then we can pivot to something else. So, I'm maybe not quite as risk tolerant, but close, and you have to be a little bit to be doing what we do and to be doing what I'm doing for sure. And so definitely. But like you said, I think sometimes people just need to, if they found something they're passionate about, found something they're excited about, found something they're interested in, or found something that there's a need for, I'm sure you probably kind of saw that there was some staffing need and some community connection need and said, I think I can fill that. I think I can do that. So.
It's fun too, to me. When I was a kid, I grew up playing Office. I mean, truly. So that's what I feel like I'm doing now. I mean, I had a desk and I had an adding machine from the age of 8 on and some fake checks.
Did you have some spreadsheets too?
I don't think spreadsheets were quite a thing yet, though. There may have been like one of those old ledger books that you could get, that you could write some numbers in. So that's what I feel like I'm doing in a lot of ways is I'm playing what I played as a child.
Right. Well, this has been wonderful. I am so excited to get to do this and to get to interview, such a great community person. We didn't even talk about Vanessa's very involved in the community and gives back to so many things in the community, former board president for the Art Museum and just all kinds of different things. We could go on for another hour listing. So, she doesn't just say that, she believes being involved in the community is important. She really does practice that and gives back so much. So Vanessa, as the owner and chief executive officer for Hughes Recruiting, we are just so happy to have you here. You can check out their website at any time, hughesrecruiting.com. I know they have a Facebook page, Instagram, all the things. So give them a follow, give them a like. And if you are needing staffing or if you're not sure what you want to do when you grow up or you're, still trying to figure it out, message them, talk to them, reach out. And if you're like me in a small business who, doesn't really have an HR department, because I'm the HR department, give them a call and they'll be glad to help you and talk to you about, what your options are and what it looks like. It was such a pleasure having you. This was awesome.
Thanks, Aubra. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.